scoop, and we'll get into a little news.
Yeah, so just a couple of updates from stories we've covered last week. First off, Lizzo. Remember, she announced that she was going to quit, or she quit. Well, it turns out that she posted a new video clarifying that when she meant I quit, she meant I quit giving any negative energy attention.
You could say that Lizzo ate her words.
Yes. Yeah, so she's
backpedaled in the most pathetic way possible. I think it was all a PR stunt.
Oh, really? I'm very naive. I never know what's a stunt.
I mean, it wasn't even on April Fool's that she said it. So I really got my hopes up. I was like, finally, I'm never going to have to deal with headlines about this woman again.
It was a PR stunt because the announcement that she quit was on March 29th, and she waited till April 2nd to say, oh, I was just kidding.
I don't get all the proclamations. I don't. This sort of reverts back to what we're talking about before. You know, you're a performer, you perform, you play an instrument, you do shows. I don't know why you have to make a proclamation every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And look, if you're in the public eye and you're making a lot of proclamations, then you're going to get a lot of pushback, which is fine. Everybody gets it. Everyone feels it. Everyone who puts an opinion out, you're going to get opinions thrown back at you. Some of them are going to be insulting. Some of them aren't going to feel good. That's the game we're in. If you don't want it, then you got to get a job at a postal sorting facility in Arleta where you don't have to push your opinions out constantly. But you can't push your opinions out all the time and then have your feelings hurt when people come back at you with things. But I would say if you are a talented artist and a musician, then just go about and do whatever, I don't know, Dave Matthews does. That's
not enough.
Go tour.
That's
and
not
make
enough
money.
to be successful these days. You need some kind of stupid shtick. Like, she obviously does have some talent, but that's not the focal point. The focal point is she's fat.
Yeah.
And if you mention it, you can't even acknowledge the fact that she's fat. You can't mention it.
Well, she
okay.
brings up body positivity, and then people call her fat, and then she gets butthurt,
exactly.
and now there's a thing. I'm just saying, I think she could have a successful touring career without all the proclamations. That's all.
I'll believe it when I see it. But, I mean, you remember there was a time when the media didn't handhold celebrities, right? Where the media would just trash them constantly for their personal lives. They would stalk celebrities, literally harass them, insult them for their looks.
Yeah.
I mean, a female celebrity could gain 5 pounds and they're getting called a whale on the cover of a magazine. And these days, I swear it's like they were bought and they're fully in the pocket of celebrities now, where they just heap praise constantly and they just validate and affirm and celebrate no matter what. And I mean, I feel like I wish the media could just be trashy again, like tabloid culture again.
Yeah.
Because it's just, look at this beautiful, Lizzo stuns in new selfie on Instagram. Right. I don't know. That's not interesting. And it's also not true.
I think that may have died with Princess Di.
You think that the guilt took over?
Well,
for the media?
The media was like, we kind of killed this person. You know, now her drunk driver, who was her bodyguard, who was like 3 times the legal limit.
Yeah.
Was probably the reason she's dead. But the guy was driving at a high rate of speed because he's trying to avoid the paparazzi. So that was a gut check for the paparazzi. They did kind of slow their roll about the time Princess Di died because they thought somehow they were involved with it to some degree.
Yeah, I think that's bogus.
Well, it's hard to argue.
And I don't know if you can trace it back just to that.
All right.
Because it continues.
First off, I never say just. I just said that was the beginning, I should say, of it. I didn't say it stopped, but it began. They began to slow down when they killed somebody. It slowed their roll.
But look at Britney. I mean, they all but killed Britney.
They did.
She's not recognizable anymore. She's somewhere deep in the sunken place. Like,
yes.
The real Britney that we once knew is not there anymore. She's just simply not there.
Yes.
And they continued berating her for years and years and years. And then she was in this conservatorship. And I feel like the Free Britney movement also just guilt-tripped the public.
Yeah.
For having a public interest in celebrities, which was foisted upon them by the media in the first place.
I never looked at her as a talent in the first place.
Really?
No. I never looked at her as having chops. I never
Was she an
looked at her
industry plant?
She just seemed like a creation, and sort of there was a little, I mean, obviously being, I don't know, 16 and putting the schoolgirl's outfit and stuff. Like, there's a little pedo version of Britney.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's not really good to be attracted to this, but I guess she's going to do a video where she's super naughty in her Catholic schoolgirl outfit. Like, I could watch that on MTV.
I was in 8th grade. It was very appropriate.
Her voice always sounded weird and compressed to me. Her songs were stupid. I mean, she's kind of for dumb people. It's not really for artists. You know, she's not an artist. She doesn't make music. I've always had her as a concoction of society and the machine. And I've said it a million times. The people who are musicians play. They show up. They show up at coffee houses on Sunday nights and do like pop in. Comedians who do stand up, pop in, show up like all the time. But the ones that don't, they're not really comedians. So anyway, I don't have Britney as a talent, and I don't have her as an artist. But go ahead.
Well, and also just an update to J.K. Rowling. Remember, she challenged Scotland to arrest her with her trans Twitter
Yeah.
thread.
Yeah.
I love her.
Was it because India Willoughby made those allegations of a hate crime?
It was on Scotland's new Hate Crime and Public Order Act.
Yes.
And she was just challenging that and daring the cops and provided a bunch of different examples. But the spokesperson for Police Scotland said in a statement, "We have received complaints in relation to JK's social media post."
She, again, the very definition of F me money. She's got F me money. She can go, everyone can fuck off.
She's burning that franchise
I don't
to the
care.
ground.
I'll never work again. That's fine. I don't care.
I mean, I think it would be kind of iconic if she did get arrested. Like, those mugshots would be maybe not as viral as Trump's mugshot.
She would be smiling, though.
She
Yeah.
would definitely have a shit-eating grin.
Yeah.
It would be kind of
She's
iconic.
trolling her country. Good.
But yeah,
Yeah.
police said the comments are not assessed to be criminal. No further action will be taken.
Speaking of
obviously.
further action, I didn't get to it in my March Madness rant because I think it happened the next day or something. But the Spanish Soccer Federation president is going to be a prisoner. They're bringing him up on criminal charges for assault.
This is serious.
The kiss.
The kiss.
I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
now criminal.
Wow.
They're bringing criminal charges
Sexual
against
assault.
that guy of sexual assault for
That's actually insane.
kissing someone. He kissed this person for less than a second. Like, people,
I would have to look back at the video. I don't remember.
people don't know what a second is. I'll put it to you this way: in the NFL combines, if you're a defensive back and you run a 4.40, you're in. If you run a 5.40, you're out of the league. You didn't even play college. You can't
What are you
play
doing
that
here?
position. You shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
They're hugging each other. He kisses her. That is less than a second.
She's literally smiling afterwards. I mean, you
Yeah.
could make justifications for that. Fine. She was smiling because she was uncomfortable.
It's less
it's
than
just-
a second.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. We're bringing up criminal charges.
Well, yeah.
Against this guy.
He's
That's insane.
Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That alone is the reason. But I mean, maybe if he were British, that would be weird. But like, he's from Spain.
It's cultural.
It's
a
cultural.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's cultural.
I don't. The people who sit by idly and watch this stuff go down. I am telling you, assholes, it's the beginning of the end. If we're bringing criminal charges against this guy, all your sons are in jeopardy. Anyone could be brought up on anything. All your sons. And no one understands it. Everyone just sort of sits around and goes, oh, let him be what it be. They're bringing up this guy on criminal assault charges for kissing someone for less than a second on a podium celebrating. That is insane. But bigger picture, it is a horrible, eerie harbinger of where we're at. And everyone should be speaking out against it, but you're all cowards and you're pussies and you won't say a word against it the same way you wouldn't do it with COVID. And it's on you. I spent the entire COVID calling everyone pussies and sheep. And everyone would say to me, why are you bothering them? Because Barbara Ferrer doesn't give a fuck what I say. I want to shame everyone who's going along with her. It didn't work.
I mean, I think it's ironic that everyone's tune changed on Me Too suddenly. I mean, even conservatives were kind of sounding pro Me Too for a while. But it all changed when they realized it was so flagrantly excessive. And it was putting innocent people in danger. But I think really, that should have stayed in Hollywood because Hollywood has a degeneracy and predator problem. The rest of society, really not so much. It should have focused on Hollywood as an industry, but instead it went from celebrities and multimillionaire executives at all of these studios to college students.
Yes.
And just normal, ordinary people.
Well, Hollywood
and it never should have happened like that.
We in Hollywood have all the worst ideas in the world, and then we export them to the nation and the world.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Also, I mean, it's a noble cause, but we didn't establish parameters.
Ugh.
So that's...
I've been sounding the alarm. Word go. Everything's an individual case. No, not all women need to be believed. Not all anyone needs to be believed. You just look at the case by case. But this guy's getting sucked up in the wake of all the people who were actually victims, and this is how it goes.
I'm starting to see that even credible allegations are just being dismissed out of hand now because people are so jaded.
Of course.
Because of Me Too. And it's the Me Too activists we have to blame for that.
It's what's going to happen. Look, the next time the CDC or the WHO try to tell me about some airborne virus, I'm not going to be apt to listen nearly as closely as I listened the last time because they lied the first time. And this is a natural outgrowth of what happens when you do this. Now, you take people who are actually victims of Me Too or rape or whatever sexual assault, and then you have a jaundiced eye. You raise an eyebrow and you go, did she really? You shouldn't be saying that, but we're there because they swept everyone into it, which I've been screaming about for the longest time ever, and everyone tells me to shut up. I
think that Me Too treats this issue as something far simpler than it is.
Yes.
Because the idea that consent is a great metric for deciding what is ethical or what is moral or what is appropriate or what feels comfortable, it's a terrible metric for that. And that was a terrible basis to judge those sexual encounters on in the first place. And I think that Me Too only resulted from basically opening the floodgates for all sexual degeneracy, all casual hookup culture. Everything is acceptable until we have to reel it back. But when we have to reel it back, we don't have the right vocabulary to even express that a certain sexual act was maybe degrading to oneself or was a bad decision. Maybe you hooked up with someone and you regret hooking up with them, but you don't even have the vocabulary to express that now because we aren't allowed to impose morals on sexual activity now.
Yes.
So you have to call it rape, you have to call it sexual assault, and you have to frame it through the lens of Me Too. When in reality, I just think a lot of these women with bogus Me Too allegations, they're not even consciously lying to people. They're lying to themselves because they can't really face the idea that they did something that was degrading to themselves.
Yeah, I think of the Aziz Ansari thing. that one come off.
Right.
Like, you're just embarrassed and deeply ashamed of something that you did, but you don't have the language to even express remorse for that. So
Yeah,
you
I
have to
agree.
blame the other person.
But it's not them, it's us. It's society. It's jumping on, everyone jumping. Everybody should be speaking out and going insane that this person could possibly face prison time for pecking someone in a celebration. Everyone
Yeah.
should. Nobody does because they're all scared.
Well,
And
what
they're
are we going to
weak.
do? What are we going to do about it?
What am I going to do? I'm going to crow about it all the time, and we're going to call
That's a
everyone who
start.
doesn't talk about it cowards.
It's
which I
funny
do
you bring this up
constantly.
now because I just saw that the Marvel actor Jonathan Majors,
Yes.
he avoided jail time.
I don't know what he did either. Jonathan Majors, I saw a videotape of him running.
He was
from
literally
his girlfriend,
on foot chase.
and she's chasing him
It was
down.
crazy.
It was like Pirates of the Caribbean, where the fat wench is chasing the drunken
and
pirate
she
around.
was in heels too. Like I was shocked
Should've
that
had
she
Wellington
actually
in her
caught up
hand.
to
I'm
him.
like watching it on TMZ, and it's like, he's lucky she dropped these charges. And it's like, all right, she was clearly drunk and out of her mind. She went on later that night to just party. So she didn't go to the hospital. She partied. And there's footage of him like trying to get away from her, and she's running him down. I don't
But
know why we have
they
to
both
ruin his
seem crazy.
career.
They both seem
they
crazy.
Listen, they were drunk. They were partying. They got into it. She
Yeah.
got into it. They got into it. He tried to push her into like a car, and she like sort of hit her head, but he was like trying to subdue her and go, get in the back of the car. I mean, he's not without blame or fault. They went out, they tied one on, and they got rowdy and whatever. Does his career need to be destroyed? Does he need to be dropped from every Marvel movie? I don't know what he did exactly. There's a picture of her looking sad, and she had a cut behind her ear.
From the door of
Probably
the car,
strap
I
of the
guess.
mask got caught.
Oh
on
yeah, the
something.
N95 got.
I
yeah.
don't. The whole point is yes, he got caught up. He got swept up. Now he's got to rebuild his career, except for he did marginally more than the soccer coach or the soccer president of Spain did. The soccer coach did 0. Jonathan Majors was a 1.5.
I think he'll be
We're
okay.
insane. He'll be okay,
I
but
think
it's
that
still nuts.
Disney wants to rehabilitate him because, like, right after the verdict, they had him do an interview with ABC, which is also owned by Disney, at the same time that they dropped him from
Fuck
Marvel.
Disney.
So it's all
Fuck them.
planned. It's all coordinated.
Johnny Depp's gonna be back.
No, he's not.
They got rid of.
There's no way that's happening.
Oh, God.
There's no way. They don't have enough money in the world.
They railroaded what's her name for the Mandalorian. I'll think of her name. And an MMA fighter.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Carano.
Yeah.
All Disney does is they're cowards.
Yeah.
Disney is the problem.
Right.
Everyone but me is the problem. These people would stand up. Whoever fired The Bachelor.
But this
host,
Jonathan Majors thing, this has been going on for, it feels like, what, a year and a half now? Just all these different stories about him, articles. Like, they've been trying to ruin his career for a while. Akin to, like, what's happening with Diddy. Like, for months and months and months, we're just seeing all these accusations, all these things going out against him. Like, it's weird how the machine is trying to ruin people.
Yeah.
I think Diddy is the machine.
I was going to say, Jonathan Majors did nothing, as best I can tell from everything I've seen, especially from the footage of him running and her trying to run him down.
Get away.
The assailant is literally running from the victim.
Yes. Now, Diddy, there may be more meat on that bone, but I agree. He is kind of the machine. He was
Yeah.
part of the machine.
Yeah, I think that it's being hyped up a little bit more than.
Well, it
is-
was like Epstein part of the machine. Like,
He's definitely, I don't think that he's on that level, but they did call him the Epstein of the rap industry or of the entertainment industry. And
right,
that-
but I'm saying
who
these
knows,
guys
like,
are the machine until the machine goes and turns on you.
You see that footage of him just waving to the camera, saying everything's fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what I'd do if I were him.
This is fine. But I mean, I think maybe he's the fall guy for somebody else.
It feels like with Diddy and it feels like with Epstein is they all had the goods on everybody. And eventually, if you have the goods on everybody, somebody's coming.
But it feels like Diddy should have a fall guy of his own.
Yes,
If you're at that step, like you should have
I agree.
a fall guy.
I agree.
Speaking of tying one on and mugshots, Morgan Wallen He was just arrested because he threw a chair off the roof of a 6-story bar in Nashville. He was drunk and threw it off. It landed like 3 feet from police. Very dangerous.
Oh,
Yes.
that could legitimately kill someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just sympathize with him
Feels
at
like
the same
partying
time.
to me.
Like 3 felony charges, really?
Well,
And he's facing 6 years in jail, maybe,
here's the
over
It's a
this.
different mugshot.
here's
but-
kind of the thing. Everyone thinks I'm nuts, but I'm like, what kind of chair? Because everyone's like,
Okay.
well, who cares what kind of chair? It's like, well, listen, there's folding chairs. They're made of aluminum and nothing like, and then there's like cast iron,
Yeah.
like there's stuff with some meat on the bone
Oh,
that
yeah.
will crush your skull.
Straight up Adirondack.
Right.
He is beaming. Look at him.
And then there's other kinds of chairs. So I really need to know the chair before I cast judgment. But
Oh, see, this is your
drunk,
case by case basis.
he likes getting drunk and getting dumb.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got plenty of room for me in my life. I can't judge. I hung out with those guys. I was those guys. That's how we all rolled. But you shouldn't throw chairs off 6-story buildings.
But watch him get forgiven in the court of public opinion faster for this than for saying the N-word on a Ring camera like 3 years ago.
For sure.
Like, people still bring that up.
Yeah, but he came back.
It's
he
easier to
sold-
get away with doing literal crimes than saying a bad word.
That's the court of public opinion. And that's the times we're living in. But I still want to know what kind of chair. That's
Morgan
all.
Wallen, if you're listening, get back to us on that, please.
Or whatever the bar was. Maybe there's
Yeah.
pictures of that place. The
The bar
patio
is
in that place.
Eric Church's bar called Chiefs.
Eric Church.
Wasn't there some guy who threw a wheelchair down a flight of
Yes.
stairs at a bar?
Yes.
And there was no one in the wheelchair.
She was going to the bathroom, and
Yeah.
There was no one in the
it was
wheelchair,
the
but
son of somebody.
They
It was a
acted like
star.
someone was in the wheelchair, and they were outraged about it, as if someone were in the wheelchair. Like,
Yeah.
it is just a wheelchair after all.
Yeah,
it's
he
not
got
a person.
He got kicked off his hockey team. or
Yeah,
something
like
for
this
that.
guy's life is ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have
we
the
can see the chair flying.
Here's the security
Barely.
footage. I mean,
Yeah.
it's grainy.
yeah.
It's grainy. It's kind of hard to tell.
Oh, I mean, it looks substantial. I think I saw a shadow.
Yeah. Well,
It's like a ghost chair.
either way, he likes to get drunk. All right, let's see. Jermaine Fowler, comedian, actor, is out there. Does it with our good friend Brian Callen as well.
He's a new show on Rumble.
new show on
Doom
Rumble.
scrolling.
Doom scrolling, yeah.
That is a great subject and a great title for a show. Good
Thank
to see
you.
you, Sam.
Good to be here, Adam. Thanks for having me.
So it's funny, you were yelling about legacy media moments before the mics got hot, and I was with RFK Jr. last night.
Oh, great.
And he was yelling about legacy media.
He should. I mean, it's like kind of crazy how they're treating him.
Yeah, well, the thing that's, I'll tell you the part that gets crazy. It's one thing to just, crazy has a right and a left, and I don't mean politically. I mean, it's like a yin and a yang. There's, two sides of
100%.
crazy, right? First side of crazy is them telling us a bunch of lies and bullshit about, it could be about COVID, it could be about January 6th, it could be Kyle Rittenhouse. It doesn't matter. There's the View's version, right? That's crazy part number one. Crazy part number two is when you then point things out to them that are wrong, them calling you crazy. That's the second part of this crazy. That's the second foot that drops in the march toward crazy mountain, is the part where they go, oh, what about you? And it's like, what about me just being right about everything COVID? Why is that? Why am I you?
Yeah, 100%.
Why is this a conspiracy theory? Or he's getting his notes from Joe Rogan or something. It's like, yeah, I'm right about everything. You guys lie about everything, and then they ban everybody. RFK Jr. is going, I can't go on ABC. I can't go on CNN. I'm banned from all these. And I'm like, hey, guess, join the club. Me, Dr. Drew, Mark Garrigus, you, everybody, no longer welcome on any of these shows. And then he goes, only place I can go is Fox. And then they go, oh, you just go on Fox, take your marching orders from Sean Hannity. It's like, nope, they're the only one who'll have me, because you guys block everybody who disagrees with you about. any alternative viewpoints about COVID for 3 years on your show? Nope, they're all banned. And then they accuse Fox of conspiracy theories, except for Fox just lets Mark Garagos, me and Dr. Drew, come on and say whatever we want. So how's that work?
It's crazy to me. Like, if you just watch like how the whole mask situation is, it's like you had people major, like especially the comedy, major comedians gaslighting everybody into like, hey, dude, stop questioning it. Just trust the science. And this is what cultural Marxism is. Cultural Marxism is to get you not to believe your eyes, your ears, or the wisdom of your experiences. And if you have an idea that is truly genuine, it should be able to stand up to any criticism.
Yes. And you bring up a very point, which is the wisdom of your experiences. I did not need to go to the WHO's or the CDC's website to figure out if COVID was dangerous to my 14-year-old healthy son.
Yeah.
He's fine, and every fucking kid in our neighborhood is fine. So you can't tell me that this is going to kill them when I've not heard of one story of any of the kids. And I live in a neighborhood with tons of 14-year-old boys and girls. Nada. Nothing.
And the data showed that. And
Right.
here's the biggest problem, Adam, right now is like, we're in a battle of algorithms too.
Right.
Right now, you can be getting an algorithm that will never let you know that they are talking now upwards of 20 million people dying from the vaccine. They have results of taking the vaccine. But if you're in a certain algorithm, you're never going to get it because some algorithms just don't get all the information. On Twitter, I don't care what your algorithm is, you're going to get snuff films. Apparently, like this is a new thing on Twitter where
Is it?
like you can just be, oh, look at this kid. Oh, there's a girl twerking and someone just died. That we can get into the whole psychological effects of that. But
it is interesting when you talk to people who just get their information from legacy media.
Yes.
Like Mike August, friend and booker and everything else. That's all he gets is information. And I was eating dinner with him before the show last weekend. And he likes to talk politics. We were talking politics. I was saying, I think the economy, that's a big issue, number one, and the Democrats are going to get hurt by this whole border disaster.
100.
Everyone's migrants and border and stuff, and he goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I said, the border. I mean, it's like people care about the economy first, probably the border second, I don't know, a second or third, and he goes, nobody cares about the border. No one's talking about it. I said, yeah, it's a thing. It's a big thing. And he's like, I've never heard. First off, no one's talking about it. Nobody cares. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you read the Drudge Report every single morning, and then you see what's going on
don't
CNN.
tell you.
And it's like, he's like, it's a zero issue. And I said, no, it's a big issue. It's probably gonna harm the Democrats. He's like, I don't even know. Nobody cares. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I realized, that's where you get your info.
You have that with the Russiagate, Russian collusion. I mean, like Hillary Clinton literally was fined by the election board or the Federal Election Committee for election interference. She had to pay a fine because they found out that she had funded the whole Steele report.
Dossier,
yeah. And do you think anyone on the left would know that? Because if my girlfriend still watches MSNBC. It infuriates me, but I have to pick my battles with her, and like
you have to pick your battles. Right? I always say to people do this. I talk to Drew about this all the time. It's like, my wife thinks this or wants to do that, but she's wrong, but I don't want to get into it. And then he always goes, every guy's been married, has a relationship. He goes, you got to pick your battles.
Yep.
And then I realized, but that's what you would say if you're talking about a special needs 9-year-old. Like you're going to upset, you're going to upset him if you talk to him about dinosaurs or something. It's like, you understand? If I don't want anyone to say that about me. You got to pick. What you do. Anyone in a relationship with a woman just keep walking.
I tell guys,
bring stuff up.
Give up. Just give up. Like if you're in a relationship, you want to make it really work. Give up, and it's the best way to be it. And like you have to put down your foot when you really matters. Put down your foot. But outside of that,
You got to be like a dying Indian. You just got to go to the mountain and you just lay down. You know what I mean? And there's a crow circling you, and you close your eyes, and you're having dreams of being blown by 21-year-olds. You just have to lay down a blanket, like a ceremonial blanket, and just die.
And
otherwise, there's going to be arguments.
Adam, here's what they do. They purposely lie out the gate. They purposely lie in the legacy media because they know that you just want to hear what you want to hear. So they tell you what you want to hear, which is a very left-sided side of the story, and then you just run off. And it's the old saying, it's easier to lie to somebody than to convince they've been lied to, and that's what happens. And you can get instance after instance after instance where they are still talking about the initial report, which has been debunked, whatever it is, 1,000 times. They don't care.
Well, there is an interesting psychodynamic, which is people say, do they know they're lying? And I think people cut them some slack sometimes. They go, no, they didn't get all the info, or they didn't gather the info, but they're not liars. Like I would always say, like, Gavin Newsom, is he evil or just horrible at his job? And I was like, and we have these arguments where we're like, no, he's not a bad guy. You know, he's a family guy. He's probably doesn't mean any harm. He's just horrible. And I was like, oh, okay, so cut him some slack, but give him some grace. But I was thinking about, like, what if you were talking about that? What if you had a warehouse and there's a guy who drove the forklift and he would just bash it into everything and knock over every shelf, and you're like, you think Steve's bad at driving a forklift, or does he hate our company? And someone would go like, no, leave him alone while he's knocking shit over in the back and punching holes in cinder block walls and scratching the side of your car. He's not a bad guy.
Well,
he just can't drive a forklift. And okay, let him drive the forklift then. Leave him alone. He doesn't mean any harm. That's basically what you have to think. But here's the equation. When you are earnestly conveying an idea or having a debate or sharing information and you turn out to be wrong, then you will go, I got this wrong. I got it wrong. If you're lying, you'll never say I got it wrong because psychologically you knew you were lying in the first place. And that's what's going on. That's how you know they're lying.
And it's also like if it was just like he wasn't good at his job, occasionally he'd be on the right side of the discussion, right? He would like once in a while, even if you're inept, you will get a broken clock's right twice a day.
Right.
But if you're always on the wrong side of the discussion, that means it's more purposeful, in my humble opinion.
Well, it's true, but to give the world's worst forklift driver a break, he did not sign the bill to cancel Pee Wee football. That's something.
Right. So I don't know if you saw, like Bill Maher's an interesting guy because like he gets it on some things and then some things he just refuses to look at. But he had a real interesting discussion with Seth MacFarlane, who is like, again, just I don't know if he's just so successful, he's so detached from like the everyday guy, but like their discussion was basically like Seth MacFarlane's like, we should just trust the people who get paid for by the legacy media over the people who are sitting at home doing nothing. And it's so disingenuous because the people at home, like, they have to put out the best product possible for you to watch it. And like, I know so many independent content creators who just work so hard on a video hoping you'll watch it. And the notion that the people who get a paycheck from the people who get a paycheck from the people you're supposed to criticize, they're on the right side. It's just ridiculous to me.
And by the way, but CNN is going to have RFK Jr. come on and talk shit about Big Pharma for a 10-minute segment when 90% of their advertising is from Big Pharma.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen. So, but here's all I'm saying. I understand what CNN is doing. They're making a business decision, and they are a business. And I while I don't really respect it, I completely understand it. What I don't understand is after all of this, the average American who does not understand what they're doing. That's the part I marvel at.
Like Rachel Maddow, who got everything wrong for the last 5 years.
You get the vaccine. That's when you stop the vaccine. It stops COVID in its tracks. You can't spread it. You can't. Yes, wrong.
And now
Wrong
we
about
find out
everything.
everyone's got full-blown AIDS.
I was, and it's sad because I was doing Megyn Kelly's show, The Ultimate Woman.
I love it.
Looks, cooks, brings home, multi-million dollars a year.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
And everyone goes, you think you could handle a woman making more? I don't know. Let's try it for about 30 years and see if I can
100%.
adjust.
Right.
See if I can adjust. Let's do a little experiment. I hook up with a woman who makes 10 times more than me, and we'll give it 30 years.
Okay.
And we'll just see how I acclimate.
It's an experiment.
Let's
yeah.
see how I get used to not fucking going to Naples for 5 fucking
I
shows
agree.
and being at
I
LAX at
agree.
5:15 in the morning tomorrow. Let's see if I can handle sleeping in while they hit the fucking road.
Yeah, I'll do some cleaning. I think I can handle it. And
Oh, no. I'm going to take I'm taking some of my bitches' money and I'm hiring.
Respect.
I'm getting people to come clean the house.
Yeah, you're giving back to the economy.
I'll coordinate.
Yeah.
But I'm not picking up a duster.
Yeah.
So she was going, well, there was a story today out of Rolling Stone about Trump. I said, okay, I don't believe it. And she goes, yeah, I don't either. And I was like, yeah, it's sad. I used to subscribe to the Rolling Stone. Maybe the story's true. I have no fucking idea. Rolling Stone, you guys have destroyed your legacy and your currency by lying so much, and you're going to weigh in on some Trump thing that may or may not have, not listening. Sad, but true.
And when you get it, when you say it's like, okay, they're trying to make a business, and it's like, but I think that we're in this kind of phase of like, we're in the anti-business phase where people like aren't respecting their consumers, their customers, and they're playing up to higher up. And if you really want to go deep enough, to me, it goes all the way back to the Federal Reserve, which prints all this money that cleans up the books of all these woke DI ESG decisions they make.
Oh man, when you start getting into it, like I heard Kennedy spoke last night for about it was probably a good hour.
At his birthday?
At his birthday. Was him. Cheryl Hines was there.
Awesome.
Great. They're going to come on the show, by the way, together soon. So that'll be cool. Very warm guy. It's funny. Last time I interviewed him, I felt he was very serious, and even a little bit cold or something. But we were hugging it out, and it was great. And he was just up there talking about BlackRock and all these, big conglomerations, that were buying up all the property, and it's like, oh yeah, you can't afford a house. People can't own a house.
It's crazy.
House, people out here that make $44,000 a year, and a house is $1.7 million. It's not even doable. And then if there's no home ownership, then there's no stake. There's no buy-in. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really, it's like, oh, he's talking about, I want to get people IDs. Everyone should have an ID. If you don't have an ID, you're not in this society, If you don't have home ownership, then what do you care if everything fucking burns down and everything like that? And you'll never hear anyone talking about any of this stuff. And he is a fly in the ointment of anything with the word big in front of it. He's a fly in their fucking ointment. And the other thing that's crazy, if you really want to get to it, his dad was assassinated. His uncle was assassinated. And he goes to the White House and goes, can I get a little Secret Service love over here? And they're like, no. No, he's
it
a
blows
Kennedy.
my mind.
Everyone in his family's been assassinated, and he can't get any.
Yeah.
We're saving the money for Ukraine. Sorry.
And it's the first time ever that's happened. Anybody who is like, especially when you look at he's polling at 12% right now. So that's a big number.
You want to know what's interesting that he was speaking about last night, which is he goes, and I'll paraphrase a little bit. He's basically goes, listen, I poll best with people under 35. Like, I'm crushing it with people under 35. The only people I do higher with are people under 24. He goes, the people I get no poll, my lowest polling demographic, my generation, baby boomers, gets nothing from them. And he goes, because they all watch legacy media and they hear the ladies from The View call him a wackadoodle, anti-vax, whatever nut job, and MSNBC. Those are the last group that sits and turns on the TV set and watches the evening news where they lie the whole time about him. But everyone else who's 24 gets all their shit from their phone, and they get to see him do long form interviews and be thoughtful and listen to podcasts and things like that, which is really interesting. So you'd think, like, normally, like when I go and do a comedy show, I look out in the audience and I just see guys my age, white guys, heterosexual guys.
The dudes with all the money.
Huge cocks.
Yeah.
I see myself wide, super girthy, wide hogs. And that's what I see staring back at me. But this is weird. He's a 70-year-old guy, and he's got the 22-year-olds because they ain't watching Rachel
They're not
Maddow.
brainwashed. Yeah,
Right.
and I agree with that. And like, if you kind of take a look at like why I think like cities like LA, New York, San Francisco, and Chicago, it's going to be so hard to save those cities because, especially people our age, they're so calcified in their views and they don't realize that like the political spectrum has completely shifted. So when we were young and we were raging against the machine, we were looking at the right as like big business, maybe oppressive, this view of Catholicism and religion.
You back in the day, you had to rage against Richard Nixon and the Vietnam War. And to this day, I go, all right, to noble causes.
Right.
Now,
it's switched.
You've switched.
It's from the left is now doing it, but they can't come to grips with that.
It's a very interesting thought experiment. Brought it up, but it's been a while. When I started off in radio in the mid-'90s, 94 or so, and every time we got a complaint, and we would get complaints, Kevin and Bean, Loveline, there was some group, wrote some letters, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, what religious far-right, religious fundamentalist Christian group? I said titties, and now they're very upset. It was always religious from the right.
Yes.
Conservative.
Yes.
That's what you get. Now you get a letter. It's all hard left people. Now
100.
everyone's trying to shut everyone up, and they have letter writing campaigns to cancel Loveline or whatever it is, and you'd have to go talk to your program director. It was always, these are nutty, religious, right-wing, gun-toting, pickup truck driving, and now it's all the cancellation, all the letters, and all the complaints are coming from the left. That's the switch. From the mid-'90s to now, they completely flopped and switched, and now there's nothing from the religious right.
Yeah,
they're the ones getting rounded up.
It's kind of like the right kind of goes, okay, these super extreme religious people, they're making us lose our base. We kind of got to get rid of the extremes of those. But the left, their whole thing is about empathy. They act like they're all about empathy. It's all this big show out in front of everybody. So they can't do that. They can't call out the crazies. And a big, for me, man, the cancel culture thing was all astroturfed. It was all done by corporations that give you the illusion that these blue-haired weirdos had all this power. In reality, it was the corporations that would astroturf this moment and then just drop you real quick. So it looked like they had a real power, and now they don't have that anymore. You saw it with Sean Strickland, this Canadian, she's a very attractive girl, was like, hey, TikTok, do your thing, meaning go cancel them. They have no power anymore.
I know.
But these people don't understand it. So you have these guys, and I love them. They're friends of mine in comedy, and I love them to pieces, but they used to be like real savages back in the day, and now they're kind of like closing the door behind them, saying things like, if you say mean stuff, or if you don't make people laugh, you're not doing your job. And it's like, dude, you used to try to offend people all the time, and now you're closing the door behind you because you're sucking up to people who are in an industry that's dying.
Changing gears here. At the event last night, big home, very big, beautiful home in Encino. There's probably 100 people there. But I was starving. What I do is I I figure out my eating based on what's coming down the pike. You know what I mean? You tell me there's going to be a big swanky thing coming down the pike. I go, not eating today.
Right. I'm getting some past apps.
Yep. Show up, and I got two of my favorite things. They got this massive sushi area where the little Japanese lady's making it right in front of your face and stacking them over here. They got a holding pen over here. She's making the stuff, looking amazing, amazing. And then right next to it, a whole big tray of sliders, right? So
I'm in.
I'm in. I go, this is going to be awesome. So I go over there, and I see the sushi, and she's taken this beautiful pink salmon and setting it on top of the bed, and everything. And I just go over there, grab my plate, and I'm standing there, and she's in, and I go, oh yeah, this looks amazing. And they go, this is vegan sushi. I go, oh. First off, isn't sushi? Come on.
Yeah,
sushi's vegan
there's some
enough.
fine print. You can eat fish.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this is what is that? Oh, it's made of kelp and tapioca and kelp, and then dyed pink.
You should be told that.
And I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna have the other sushi over here, and it looks amazing. That's vegan sushi.
That's vegan
too. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to have a slider. Oh. Yeah, that's made of mushroom.
No.
It's a mushroom slider. I'm like, is there like some provolone or something? No, we're going all, it's all
vegan. They're going vegan.
It's all vegan. It's all vegan. And then I realized, but here's how vegan works. I'm like, is Cheryl and Bobby, are they vegan? No, they're not vegan. Oh. I met the woman who owns the house. She seems pretty non-vegan to me. Kelsey Grammer's here. I don't think he's vegan. Who's vegan? No, nobody's vegan. The person throwing the party is vegan.
Oh,
and
they have to do it.
They have to do it. They have to do it. They have to do it. They have to do it. And it's like, oh, everyone's miserable now because you, who's not eating, who threw the party, is vegan.
The fortitude.
And it's like, and then you start going. Now you have to start trying to figure out how the vegan affects stuff. Like, okay, there's guacamole over there. Can I just eat that with my hand? Like, did vegan fuck up? No, vegan won't fuck up guac. Really?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. How about that? How about that tortilla chip over there? And how about that sink sponge? Can I eat that fucking sink sponge? And I was like, now, I had 14 pieces of sushi anyway. Just not happy about it.
And how was it?
It's like, I've talked to someone, I was like, the highest end of the vegan sushi spectrum, which is where I was. I was in rarefied vegan air, is about 65% of sushi. It's sort of like whatever the difference between truck stop sushi and Nobu.
Yeah.
That's the difference between vegan, highest end of vegan, and just sushi.
Respect.
Yeah, so I ate a ton of it anyway.
Who's this Japanese lady cutting vegan sushi? Where do you find her?
That's it. The stuff had stripes. It was striated. It was the perfect color.
It looked like it.
They looked like they cut, but they just can't get there.
They can't. They have to.
You eat that slider. The slider is like, you just can't make it.
Did you meet her at the end of the night? The lady whose house it was? Did she have pronouns?
The lady whose house it was not vegan. The person who threw thing, a celebrity. Oh, I'll leave their name alone, but celebrity lady went full Vigo. Everyone's miserable.
So insulting.
Nobody can say anything.
So insulting.
About to just eat it. I ended up eating like 7,000 pistachios.
That's when you stop at In-N-Out on the way back.
Literally, like you're driving home and you're going, we got to eat. Yeah. I mean, I'll fucking ram this car into a cow and we'll eat it. We'll eat it off the bumper. Like you are not satiated, satisfied. I ate 31 pieces of sushi. I got out of that place and I was like, I need some cow.
It's
no
so crazy
satiation.
Yeah, because like if you're throwing a party for someone, don't you want to make sure they have the best time and it's not about you?
Not the vegans.
Not the vegans.
The vegans, it's about them.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's about them imposing. Like RFK Jr. doesn't drink, but it's his birthday party.
Yeah.
And when you don't know somebody that well and they're adult, you're like, okay, just give him a bottle of scotch. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't drink. I would never go, I drink. So I'm showing up the bottle of fucking Cutty Shark, and me and Bobby are going to get loaded. You understand? Because I drink. You know what I mean?
So sad.
I was like,
okay.
I don't know what to get him now. I can't, what am I supposed to knit him a shawl or something? Like I'm sorry. And by the way,
it sounds like you should have brought him meat. That's what it sounds like.
I should have fucking showed up with a saddlebag
Here's some
full
ribs,
of jerky.
dude. Enjoy that.
Enjoy it.
Let's get away from these communist vegans.
Oh, listen, if I showed up that place with like a case of Slim Jims, I'd be a rich man right now.
For sure.
This Slim Jim's going to cost you $28.
Yeah, for sure.
You want it or not?
Coat.
Market value.
Oh my God. Yeah, vegan.
I like Robert. I have a bunch of friends who know him, and they all say the nicest things about him. Like his view on guns and his view on no matter what for Israel, those are problematic for me. But outside that, everyone says not really. Like they all say he's the nicest guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's warm. Cheryl Hines is probably the nicest woman in Hollywood, and he's a sweetheart, and she's a sweetheart. Like, they're just great hanging out. All right, moving on. This vegan thing. I literally.
I'm sorry you had to go.
Oh, listen.
You deserve better.
I got a dinner tonight at the Smokehouse.
Oh yeah, go.
It was on the schedule already. I'm fucking gonna go into some prime rib. I'm going like a savage.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wild on that prime rib.
The other day. Just no green.
Green
Go,
all the time.
go.
Tell me if you respect this man, you're jealous of this man, or you fear this man, or you have empathy for this man. Okay. I went to a Fogo de Chao with a crew of like 5 guys when it opened, because we did the morning show and are done. It was like 11 noon or whatever, and we just went right to Fogo de Chao. And to me, Fogo de Chao, it's not a place a man eats alone.
Yeah.
There's a guy alone at opening. Like noon, Fogo de Chao, Wednesday, wearing a suit, just alone at a Fogo de Chao. Is there sympathy for this guy?
100.
Like he can't get friends together.
For sure.
Is he so evolved that he
no
can
sympathy.
do this?
I only have respect.
Respect?
Yeah.
I felt bad for him, but I also felt like he was empowered.
I mean, that's like going to the movies by yourself. It's like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just going to do it my way.
I'm jealous of people that eat alone. They go like, I go out to eat all the time alone. I go, that seems weird or something. I go, no. And I realize I'm tethered to somebody.
You have to have conversation.
If I want to go out to eat, I got to call someone and go, I'll go say to my son, you want to go out to eat? He goes, no, I'm going out with my friends. I go, all right, I'll just sit home.
Yeah.
I wish I had the freedom to go out and eat alone.
I'm lucky when I go out, I always have someone to talk to, which is the voice inside my head. So I'm always with somebody. I can't turn my head off. So I'm just having the best conversations.
I think there's got to be some pecking order of eating alone. And I would say number 1 eat alone food is sushi. For some reason, you can do it. You can sit at the bar, sit at the counter. And it's also the size or the shape or the something of it. I think the bottom is Mexican food. I could not eat Mexican food
by
alone.
Yourself?
No, I'd need it.
How about pizza?
I could do pizza alone.
You can go get a couple slices.
I can do. Pizza may give sushi a run for their money, but you don't sit at a restaurant so much.
How about
pizza.
Golden Corral? Is like that's got to be. That's got to be like if you go Golden Corral by yourself. That's. I have a lot. Let's say I have a lot of empathy for you.
All right, so Fogo de Chao guy,
Respect.
Respect. Okay,
that's
but
fine.
Golden Corral,
A lot of sympathy.
lot of sympathy for that guy.
That's all
You're
I'm
just
getting up.
loading up,
Sushi
bro.
is fine.
You're just loading up by yourself.
But
you want to get fat with somebody. Like,
Right.
let's get fat together.
Yeah.
Not fat by myself, because then you'll never meet anybody. But if you can grow fat with someone you love,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it, dude. Yeah.
And Mexican, the saddest food to eat alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is not you getting a burrito at Chipotle. This is a Mexican
sitting
restaurant.
there, you're getting
where
the
just
chips and the salsa
sitting
at the
at
top.
a booth alone.
Did you see
know
the
what I mean?
guy talking about how he went and got Chipotle and he asked for extra meat and they charged him $7?
No.
That's where we are with.
I don't know gay slang. How does that work?
Yeah, he asked for extra meat, right? He asked for some extra steak or something. And according to his video, allegedly, he got charged another $7 on his
twice the
burrito.
price.
Really?
So it was almost a $25 burrito.
I love all the videos of people complaining about the price of everything. That's my favorite one, where it's like, I just got charged an extra 50 cents for a tomato slice on this taco. I'm going out to my truck and film myself.
Eating alone.
I'm going to rant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, I kind of get it. I mean, I get the outrage. On the other hand, we live in this country. We experience prices. We don't need your input on the price of groceries.
Well, it's also, I mean, like, I guess you can say it's Biden's fault, but in reality, again, it goes back to the Federal Reserve just printing money. If I hear another person say, I'm tired of my tax dollars going to this, and that. Listen, the truth of the matter is most of your federal tax money doesn't go to almost anything. It goes to one thing, which is paying off the interest on the money that the Federal Reserve is printing.
I know. We're so weird in that we label certain subjects like we're like the interest that we have to pay. This is going to be a legacy that's left to our children. This is the reason you can't afford a home right now. This is why the interest rates. And then someone goes, hey, what's Taylor Swift up to? And then we go, oh, yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about her for a while.
I
and
couldn't
then we're
agree
done.
more.
We're all done. We're all done.
I think there's a giant demoralization campaign to, this. Listen, the whole thing is like, oh, we're getting dumber. I go, I don't know if we're getting dumber. I mean, like, if you took your grandpa or whatever generation you think was the smartest and brought them to today and asked them to upload a picture to Instagram, how long do you think that would take? It's a different skill set.
Yeah.
But they are drowning us in useless knowledge, and they want us to have so much useless knowledge that we can't actually understand or want to pay attention to how our government works. That's it. And what they don't want to understand, or they don't want us looking into, is that our Federal Reserve is basically funding the entire military-industrial complex, and they're allowing this cultural Marxism to infect this country by cleaning up the books of all these countries companies pushing it on us. That's what they're doing right now.
All right, but we need to argue about race.
Okay,
I'm
all about it.
That's the
I
whole
thought we were
plan.
talking about
Like,
Taylor
Started
Swift.
on that. I'm so upset.
they're like, listen, you guys don't start looking into Monsanto or BlackRock or any military industrial. I'm coming off of the RFK Jr. speech, but like, don't look into any of this. You just go over here and you argue about race and Taylor Swift, and then we can just keep doing what we're doing.
Agreed.
Over here, it's like fucking
divide and
jingling
conquer.
keys. So like you're going now. Where did? Well, first off, where did COVID come from? Why is it in a lab over there? Who funded the lab? Who's doing the gain of function? Oh, so they were doing it here, and then Fauci said he had to move it because Obama said we're not going to. Oh, keys over here. What's going on? Race. There's a race thing. There's something about racism, and Taylor Swift may be racist too. Oh. She dating a black guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, whatever we were talking about, forget
the
about
guy
it.
who wants to be black, am I right? I mean,
forget
he's got
about it
that
now.
wigger haircut for sure. But it's very interesting because even if you look at like California, and why again I have zero hope for us to be able to turn it around until it gets really bad. It's like the theory of racism is actually worse than actual on the ground crime and all that. So the notion of like maybe going, hey man, maybe I need to vote for the other side this time, and even that's a questionable, but maybe I need to not vote for the same people.
You want more racism?
Yeah.
That's it. All right, switching gears again. I was watching TMZ and on a couple of those news entertainment shows. Cher is in a court battle. She's trying to get executorship of
Her son.
her son.
Yeah.
Blue Ivy or whatever his name
I
is.
mean,
don't know
like
his name.
maybe
Blue something.
not name your kid Blue Ivy.
Elijah Blue Allman.
Elijah Blue. Yeah.
Almond?
His almond brother.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
And he, I guess he's just living off royalties, you know, like you and me, our dad.
Yeah.
My dad out there swinging that fucking axe, rocking that crowd. Now I just hang back and get that mailbox money, you know. But she thinks he has a problem with drugs or whatever, and
Yeah.
she's trying him to court. He's going to court. He's fighting her. And I was thinking, like,
47.
yeah, I was thinking, like, Cher's pretty preachy, but she probably has a lot of ideas about how we should raise our kids, but I don't know how hers turned out. And then I was thinking, oh yeah, I forgot about our other kid, Chaz.
Yeah.
Chaz
He looks
Bono.
like Larry the Cable Guy now.
Yeah. She was like, the doctor's like, I'm going to cut your dick off. And she said, get her done.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, okay, I'm old enough to remember. And Sam, I don't know how you are. You're probably too young.
I'm 51.
You just missed the cutoff
Okay. Well, thank God.
for Sonny and Cher. the
I know. I
TV
used to
show.
know Sonny and Cher because Cher is Armenian. She denied it forever. So
Oh,
I'm
really?
Armenian. So like that was a big deal. She's Armenian.
Oh, okay. Does she deny the genocide
denied it
as
for
well,
what?
or just the
Don't get me
Armenian
started
part?
on that.
It's a conflict.
I'm gonna
Come
fight Sync. Go on.
on. Listen, I would just want to tell you with all respect to the Armenians.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've told this to Mark Garagos as well. So I want to be upfront with you.
Okay.
I do have a friend, a very good friend.
Yeah.
And he plays in it.